Hey, Gillian. It's been a whole couple of weeks since we last spoke, and a lot has changed. Obviously, going from the KGB Lee fight, and now you've got, Santos and a new card. I know you love to fight. I know you're a super positive person, but was it difficult to accept going from somebody ranked just outside the top 10 to someone not ranked at all?
No, that wasn't difficult for me to accept at all. I know that if I want to be the champ one day, that I got to beat all these girls in the division. So if I can't beat Santos, then I don't deserve to have the belt. So if I'm going to work my way up there, then I'll take any fight.
You haven't had a ton of time to adjust here, so how did you go about approaching the opponent switch?
No matter what, going in the cage, I'm just trying to do the best I can. So I'm going out there and I'm trying to just enforce my game plan. So who the opponent is, doesn't really matter to me. It's just I'm going to go out there and I'm going to fight my fight and impose my will.
And the last time we spoke, you talked about sharpening your mental game, reading stuff like Relentless by Tim Grover. Is this the sort of situation where, thanks to that mental preparation, you find it easier to roll with the punches?
Oh, 100%. Dean Thomas is my head coach, and my team with Jose Shorty Torres, they both prepare me for anything. So even through my camps, I feel like they try to push me and put me through hard mental situations and try to break me in those moments. So then when it comes to those moments in the fight, I know that I can persevere and I know I can push through.
Does the fight being pushed back a week change anything for you, just in terms of maybe when you're peaking?
If anything, it just helped me with my weight cut a little bit, helped me push that back a little bit, an extra week, and get my weight down a little bit easier. But other than that, it makes no difference to me.
Christmas is going to be that much better after all this.
Oh, yeah, 3 wins this year. That's the best Christmas present ever.
And last one for me, I mean, when we look at your career as a whole, how important has your level of competition been to your development? Because one thing we see from your record, every single fighter you've lost to is now a UFC fighter, right from Hannah Goldie and Calvillo outside the UFC. You've been fighting high-level girls right out of the gate.
I think that's what developed me as a fighter and what got me to the point that I'm at today is that I just never said no to fights. I took every single fight that I could, and I was just always down to be there. So I took all the opportunities, and now it's taken me places. So I'm thankful for that.
All right, well, looking forward to the fight this weekend. Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
We'll take our next questions from Jim Barcelona with the Miami Herald.
Thank you. I'm curious, this is your third fight for 2020, and your last fight was October. How has that been for you, conditioning-wise? You're very good at conditioning and just being prepared and getting yourself ready for this one.
Literally the Monday after my last fight, I was back in the gym, back to drilling, back to working. So every single day I've just been prepping for the next fight, prepping for this moment. Me and my coach have been doing either 2 or 3 days in the gym, and I've had no days off. But even on like Sundays, we do at least one training session. So we're just always staying ready, always staying active.
Gillian, did you do much sparring during this training camp, and were there others there that were brought in to help?
I honestly do minimal sparring for my training camps in general. I think I did 1 or 2 sessions this whole camp, and we went up to Wonder Boy's gym, and I worked with a couple of his girls. So that was really my main sparring there, and it was great work. We were looking for it for Andrea Lee because she has such good movement. We knew that a lot of them had really good movement. So that was the ideal thing, but no matter what, it still works for Taila.
A victory in this fight, where does that get you to?
Hopefully a little bit higher in the ranks. They moved me down yesterday or sometime this week, and I'm not really sure why, but I'm just hoping to move up, hoping to keep on getting up there.
And Gillian, what have you learned about yourself and your fighting? And you mentioned the mental toughness during this whole 2020, not just with fighting, but obviously dealing with this whole pandemic we've all been dealing with.
I think the mental toughness, well, the sport is really all mental. It's 90% mental. So you need to focus on that. And that's really my main focus, if anything else, because if your mind's not there, then your body's not going to cooperate.
And lastly, are you going to be taking any time off after this one? Are you going right back into it? And when would you like to fight again?
Of course not. I'm not taking time off. I'm back in there. I'm back in the gym as soon as possible, and whenever I get the call, I'll be ready for it. Like I said, the reason my career has gotten so far, I feel like, is because I've been ready for opportunities. So I'm just staying ready for those.
All the best, and thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
We'll take our next question from Nolan King with USA Today.
Hey, Gillian, appreciate the time. You talked about this great year that you're having so far and what, you'll be able to continue it on Saturday. But when you look back to where you were a year ago, coming off a loss to Macy Barber, do you feel like the stretch of time since then, you've proved stuff to a lot of people watching, but have you proved stuff to yourself as well about what kind of fighter you are?
I feel like I've just grown as a fighter this last year more than anything. Breaking off from ATT and having all the attention from my coach now, I work with him twice a day, every day, and I've just seen myself grow so much. So I think that translates to my confidence in the cage, seeing that I'm just prepared, knowing that I'm ready for that fight and that I'm ready for any moment that happens. So yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, for sure. And you and Santos were supposed to fight in June, and that fight didn't happen. So when her name was presented to you, was there any extra added interest just because you guys had that fight that never happened?
I guess it was just like I already knew what I was expecting then. I knew that what I was coming into. We already studied her. We were already prepping for her for a couple months before the fight fell out. So it just gave me that little bit extra preparation. Yeah,
and we've, from the time that you prepared for her last, and since then we've seen her fight once, and it seemed to be kind of a breakout performance for her. Were you impressed with her fight over Molly McCann? Her win?
I definitely feel like she looked impressive there, but I also know that I'm a completely different fighter than Molly. Molly's going to sit there and bang with you in the pocket, where obviously I'm going to try to take the fight to the ground, maybe a wrestling fight more than anything else. And it's just a different matchup, and I feel like I show a lot of different threats for her.
Awesome. Appreciate the time. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll take our next question from Omer Mursavici with S Sport.
Hello, Gillian. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Thank you so much. How does it feel to come here with a winning streak?
Oh, it feels great, but so far my UFC record, if you look at it, I've gotten 2 wins and 1 loss. So this is me breaking that, hopefully. So once I get these 3 wins, then that'll be better for me. The 2 wins isn't enough.
Okay, my last question. Any prediction on Saturday, and what do you want after this fight if you win?
I think everybody knows I'm always going for the rear naked choke. I'm always trying to take it down to the floor and get it to my world. So I think that's pretty obvious for my prediction. And after this fight, I guess I really haven't looked ahead. I would love for the KGB fight to be rescheduled. I was honestly really excited for that fight. She's a huge veteran for women in MMA, and I felt like that would have been a really true test for me. She would have been one of my hardest opponents to this date. So I was really looking forward to that. So hopefully we can reschedule that in the future.
Okay, thank you, Gillian. Good luck on Saturday.
Oh, thank you.
We'll take our last set of questions from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Gillian, you mentioned, of course, leaving American Top Team and kind of going with your coach, Dean Thomas, and the personal attention that has received since then. How much of a difference has that made for you? Because, some fighters thrive in those big team situations. Others, love that individual attention. So how has it been for you?
Oh, it's been absolutely amazing for me. I love the big team situation, having so many training partners there. Obviously, I was surrounded by the best 10 to 15 girls in the world, but having so many girls and then probably 100 guys on the pro team, the coaches are just spread so thin that you don't get that type of attention. And now that I feel like I'm not solving my own problems, not just trial and error, going out there and trying to work with the best girls in the world and then seeing what I did wrong. Now my coach is picking me apart and telling me what I'm doing wrong, and we're drilling to make it right. So I just really see myself growing so much.
It seems like that's kind of more of the boxing mentality. You see a lot of boxers, they kind of build a camp around themselves, with coaches and training partners and teams to get ready for a big fight. Do you feel like that's been a big benefit in terms of the win streak you put together, the 2 last wins as you go for this 3rd one this year, that you have kind of built a camp around you versus you kind of just jumping into a bigger camp?
That's exactly what it is. It's now that we're focused on me. I'm not helping 10 other girls during their camps while I'm trying to focus on my camp and maybe getting a little attention from a coach here and there, but really just putting my whole camp together by myself. So now that I have Dean's 100% attention, we're focused on me. We're making me into a world champion.
What is that relationship like with Dean Thomas? I mean, Dean's a legend. He's been around forever, and you always hear about the people he's worked with as a coach, but obviously you've been working with him. It's almost like beyond coach and students, almost like mentor. teacher, student, that kind of thing. Like, what is your relationship with Dean, and how much has he meant to your career?
I was literally nothing before I met Dean. Like, I volunteered with animals. I was 16 years old, and I never played a sport in my life. So I started cardio kickboxing at his gym, and he just kind of took me under his wing. He saw that I'm a hard worker and I'm willing to do anything. Like, he would tell me, be here at this time, and I'd be there ready to work no matter what. So I feel like that's why we kind of clicked, is we both have the same work ethic, and we've grown together. He's made me into the UFC fighter that I am today, from literally I wasn't even an athlete.
And last one for me, you mentioned the weird thing about the rankings, and we could sit here and talk all day about weird things with rankings, but how much do you pay attention to things in terms of like where you're progressing in your career? Because you are still very young, you're still learning, you're still evolving. But do you pay too much attention to, in terms of like rankings, where you want to go, like before and after fights, things like that? Or do you just go out there and fight and kind of let everything else kind of take care of itself?
Yeah, I don't pay attention to the rankings much. I'm trying to make myself the best mixed martial artist in the world, and I know that I'm gonna get there one day. I just got to keep on working for it. So wherever the journey takes me, I'm down for it.
Thanks, Gillian.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for you today, Gillian. Thank you.
Thank you.